And welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of, you know what, guys? I'm thinking about changing the name of the TV show. I want to rebrand it, Rhea. I want to rebrand it, Angelo Cataldi. Joined by Rhea Hughes and Angelo Cataldi. I'm Jay Black. And we were talking right before the start. Ladies and gentlemen, our the number one villain of the TV show podcast, David Zaslav, literally 20 minutes ago, we don't even have this in the breakdown, has announced that Max, the channel that had HBO attached to it as the one mark of quality, has changed its name back from Max to HBO Max because they realized that the brand was HBO and not the Max part. Guys, can you believe that?
I can believe it. I have a message.
It was so dumb.
David, I don't know how many billions of dollars he's made in the industry, but David, go home. A village is missing its idiot. Yo.
The next thing you're going to hear is that Zaslav has hired Jordan Hudson to be his PR person.
Oh, she's a piece of work.
Yeah, we just needed to touch on that at the very start because this was a move that was predicted by literally every single person who saw him switch from HBO Max to Max. HBO is their mark of quality. Never get rid of a brand that works ever. Okay, so I want to start today, guys, with we have this fan mail link that you can click and talk to us direct. We can't talk back to you yet, but we got a great topic suggestion from our fan Ken in Haddonfield about the NBA. And I want to start, Rhea, by saying every time I send out an idea about the NBA, you and Angelo come back with the same statement. No one cares about the NBA, Jay. Don't talk about it. No one cares. And I thought of this when I was looking at this update. NBC canceled 2 nights worth of shows because they acquired the NBA, and their goal is to put on 2 nights of NBA programming throughout the course of the spring in prime time. Now, how are they, if no one cares about the NBA, how is this a good move for them, Rhea? Are they going to make money on this, or is this
you always follow the money. This is a business decision. What they looked at is those 2 nights of TV, the shows they cut, they're around the same. Maybe the NBA has a little bit more in terms of viewership. What they expect, like the NBA kind of average, I want to say maybe around 1.55 million.
Yeah.
But in a higher, when it got closer to the playoffs, they were up a little bit closer to 3 million. So what they're banking on is they're going to get better, the same or better ratings, but because it's live TV, because it's live sports, they can charge more for the commercials. So it's a money decision for NBC. And when you look at it just in those stark terms, it makes sense because they can charge more for the commercials.
Angelo, is this the future? I mean, because live television is the only thing that really seems to work for the networks. And is this a good move in your opinion?
It's not a good move. Rhea just made a very good point, though, about how you could charge more for the commercial. They are not going to be able to maintain the ratings that they're getting now when they move to the NBA. On Sunday night, during the football season, they got NFL. NFL averages about 22 million viewers, all right? Yeah. The NBA, Rhea said it, 1.5 million, maybe 2 on a good night. Yeah. That's 1/10 of what they're getting. So there's no way that works. And The Voice is the show they usually put on Tuesday. The Voice averages, even though it's down 23% this year, it still averages over 4 million a show. So there's no way the NBA, a regular season NBA game, is going to get 4 million. It's not. The playoffs, I guess, might, but not before that. What Rhea said has to be the only reason. They can charge more for commercials so they're not worried about losing viewers, because there will be fewer viewers. And frankly, the NBA regular season is just a hot mess.
Yeah.
It's awful. All right. It's bad. It's a bad product. They know it's a bad product. They can't get the stars to play every night. And this is not going to fix it. There's not going to suddenly get the stars to play because it's on NBC.
You guys work in sports Do you know anybody that watches the NBA on a regular night that their team isn't playing? Like, if somebody came to you and said,
No,
"Oh, I was
it's
watching a
yeah.
great Pacers game last night," you'd be like, "Are you in therapy? Like, what's wrong with you?"
Well, here's the thing is, at their height, you would watch a Michael Jordan game. Of course you would if it was
Right.
available. LeBron, Steph Curry. There are certain players that cachet that the next wave of stars hasn't hit that. Not enough of the country knows about Shea Gilgeous Alexander. Anthony Edwards. They're up and coming. The Celtics just lost their massive star. Jason Tatum to a blown Achilles. He's probably gone all next year.
Right.
So nothing is like the NFL. I mean, let's just be really clear. I'll watch a Jacksonville Jaguars game if it's on because it's the NFL,
Cool.
and I could care less about the. I watch them every time they're in London at 9 o'clock in the morning because I love that on a Sunday morning. You're not going to get that with the NBA. They're going to get their ratings when it starts going towards the playoffs. Then you'll start watching other games, but not. I mean, let's be honest. Until the NFL is done in February, then that's where everybody turns their attentions until
Right.
baseball season starts.
Right. So they got about a month.
Yeah.
I got to tell you the truth. I even in the playoffs, and I check in a lot, but I don't watch a whole game, even in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now, if the Sixers are in where I watch the whole game, probably not a whole game. I might take it on in the halftime or whatever. The first NBA production that I watched in its entirety was 2 days ago when they held the NBA lottery, which was half an hour. And I would like to state publicly, since I no longer am on a show to say it, that
I know what you're going to say.
the NBA is rigging the lottery. You guys covered this, did you?
Oh, Angelo, for 3 days, I have, our good friend Billy King. I immediately text him and I said, this is worse than in 1985 when they gave Patrick Ewing to the Knicks.
Right.
Billy got back to me. Billy's a former GM of the Sixers and the Nets. And he goes, I don't believe it was rigged. You know that famous meme of Will Farrell in Ron Burgundy where he goes, I don't believe you. That's what I said back to him.
No, Billy is lying. Billy knows this is rigged. The Dallas Mavericks, Jay, traded their stud big attraction.
Yeah.
What's his name?
Luka Doncic.
Luka Doncic, right? And they had a 1.8% chance of winning the lottery and getting the top pick for another great young white star. Voila! They win. Come on. Do I look stupid to you?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, you know what? This actually leads into our next conversation about, whether or not things are real and faking stuff. And I wanted to talk to you about this, Angelo, because you and I have talked a lot about Nathan Fielder and, the sort of genius and creativity that he shows on just about everything that he does, except for the curse, which none of us really enjoyed. There was an article I sent you guys about a woman who was pranked by Nathan Fielder, thought she was working on a version of American Idol. She's a singer-songwriter. She spent $10,000 of her own money. Although I got to be honest, that number seems a little high. Like it seems like she was exaggerating a little bit, but spent a lot of her own money to go and work on this show that turned out to be fake. And it got me to thinking about all these reality shows, or even like Jimmy Kimmel Man in the Street interviews and all that sort of stuff, where a regular person is being made fun of and the butt of the joke. Is that okay? I mean, if you're appearing on TV and you sign a waiver, I mean, can you do whatever you want to these people, or do the television networks and the stars have some obligation to take care of the people that appear on their shows? What do you think, Angelo?
Well, I got to tell you, Jay, first of all, I'm highly conflicted on this because what he did is wrong, right? With that particular woman, it is wrong. At the same time, the rehearsal season 2 has become a major obsession to me.
Yeah.
Episode 4 just dropped on Sunday night. All right. And in it, Nathan Fielder, I don't even know how he's connecting this to his original premise of communicating between co-pilots and making it safer for air travel. I don't even know what that is. He found a way to turn that into bringing in very attractive women and very attractive guys and setting up 5 love scenes in identical apartments and bringing in, while these people were making out, the boyfriends of the women that were there. And I have always been fascinated by how people could go to see a love scene or a sex scene with somebody they're married to. You're like Keith Urban when he goes to see Nicole Kidman in Baby Girl. How does he react to how he? Well, he shows you how they react. And you go, wow, this is mind-boggling. Then you go, but is it real? Are those boyfriends really the boyfriends, or are they fake? That's what makes him a genius. So if you were to remove the surprise element, if you were to let these people know, put them in on the joke, right? It wouldn't be the show anymore. So what the real question is, are you willing to bamboozle, to use these people as marks, maybe laughing stocks, to present entertainment as it's never been presented before? And I'm going to say yes, because I love what he's doing right now.
Yeah, I mean, Rhea, you have guests on your show all the time. It seems like you guys, having been on your show, you guys always treated us with a lot of respect. I mean, where do you stand on this?
I'm completely against it, but Angelo will tell you there's a lot of things I don't like. I don't like awkward humor.
Right.
I don't like pranks. Punked was a show. I never like when you're mocking somebody for something they don't know. Like, I know some people find humor in that. I don't. It's just, I find it to be mean-spirited. And, like, I love ripping people who were, I'll rip Daryl Morey 24 hours a day, but that's for stuff that he's doing that's out there. I find when you take, especially, you take this woman who nobody ever heard of, and she thinks she's going to be trying out for that, and it turns out to be a lie. That's not entertainment to me. It never has been.
I think I told you guys.
I want to explain that I was often accused of this in the years that I was at WIP, that I would bring in people that were maybe a little mentally different, all right, that kind of thing, and I would exploit them, right? And it was a valid argument to make. And here's the way I rationalized it, and I extended it right to Wingbo. I would say these are individuals who probably will never have a moment of fame. We're going to give them one. They won't be entirely in on what's happening, but they'll be recognized somewhere. They'll have a sense of celebrity. They'll actually, for a fleeting moment, experience what their own sports heroes get all the time. That's how I rationalize.
Yeah, okay,
I'm not necessarily right, all right? But I always felt like if it in some way gave them that moment and gave us the entertainment they provided, it was worth it. But I don't.
And I will say this, for a lot of those characters Angela's talking about, I would say to him sometimes, like, are you sure this is working? Like, and then we'd be out in public with some of these characters, and they were rock stars within our listeners.
Yeah.
It was absolutely. Like they knew, every one of our listeners knew who these people were. And so, like, I understood what Angelo was trying to do, but that is, Angelo wasn't lying about what he was doing. What these people are doing, this Nathan Field and the stuff you're bringing up, these people aren't in on what's going on. They're being pranked. That's essentially what they're happening.
Real fast, I think I've told the story on here when I was on, I auditioned for Last Comic Standing, and they stopped me literally like 45 seconds into my set, and they said, "We have enough guys who look like you." Meaning we have enough.
That's not possible, Jay.
They said we have enough white dudes, which I totally understood. But my reply was, "Really? Like, oh, okay, you're stopping me here? Fine." And then when the show aired, it's me starting the set, and then it cuts to Richard Belzer, who wasn't at the audition, and he says, "Jay, you got the gig." And then it cuts back to me, and I go, "Really?" And then it cuts back to Richard Belzer, and he goes, "No, I'm just joking." And it goes off. And it was a real kind of humiliating moment where it looked like I was a dum-dum who thought I was getting fooled by Richard Belzer. And that didn't happen. None of that happened.
Wow. That's
They,
fascinating.
and you know, the real exposure was they didn't want another white guy, which is fine. But to turn that into Jay is a dum-dum, it got under my skin. But I got to tell you, from my point of view, that's what I signed up for. I knew that when I signed the waiver, they could do whatever they wanted. So I was taking a calculated risk. So maybe not with the girl who was the musician, but maybe some of the other people. It's thorny. It's hard to say. All right, real quick, I want to just go over. There's a new, it's not a new book. It came out in 2023. Peter Biskind and Angelo. I know you read a lot of books. Did you read Pandora's Box?
Yes, I read it.
Great. Peter Biskind does not do bad work. You can read Rebels on the Backlot. You can read Raging Bulls and Easy Riders. He's a great writer. He told a story about Netflix that just I found fascinating. There was Angelo, do you remember the show John from Cincinnati?
I do remember it. I actually tried to watch it again a couple of years ago.
It's awful, right? Absolutely awful.
Hideous.
It's a David Milch show about a surfer who might be Jesus. That in itself, good. Okay, wonderful. Well, they were so excited to get this David Milch show. HBO bought a whole season at once. It was the first time they ever did this. They did not buy a pilot. They bought the whole season, and it was a disaster, right? So flash forward 5 years, David Fincher's shopping around House of Cards, and HBO loves the idea, and they say, we'll give you a pilot. They go to Netflix, and Netflix says, we'll do something no one has ever done. We'll give you 2 seasons right up front. So Ari Emanuel, the very famous agent, goes back to HBO and says, listen, we don't want to work with Netflix. No one knows who they are. We want to work with you. Give us a full season order. You don't have to give us 2. Just give us 1 and we'll go with you. And HBO, remembering what happened from John from Cincinnati, goes, we don't do that anymore. You don't get a full season order, pilot only. So they go with Netflix. And that's the show that makes Netflix. And in a lot of ways, that's the show that undoes HBO and a lot of the premium cable people, because all of a sudden Netflix became a spot where big talent could go. And I guess that what I'm asking is, this is like a huge what if in the history of TV. Should HBO have given them what they wanted? And if they did, would the world be a better place? Because we wouldn't be dealing with Netflix controlling everything. Rhea Hughes, what do you say?
Well, I think it's a prime example of you should never let one decision influence another decision.
Yeah.
Because stuff happens all the time. Just because you make a mistake. I mean, we tell our kids all the time, don't be afraid to make mistakes because it'll make you a better, more well-rounded person. And so and I'm going, oh, just because we did that means we can't do this. You knew it was a good show. You wanted it, but you weren't willing to give it all. Yeah, that's a really good question on whether we would have Netflix, because, House of Cards was brilliant, unfortunately, with a lead actor who turned out to have all kinds of problems.
Right. Yeah. We don't mention Kevin Spacey. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. No. And the show wasn't as good when he left,
No.
and that's just the way it is. But no, that's very curious. But HBO, as we know, doesn't make good decisions, as we found out from the top of the show.
Well, this is pre-Zaslav, so it wasn't disastrous.
We're just blaming on him anyway.
Yeah, retroactively, his bad ideas went back in time. I like that. Andrew, what do you think? Would we be better off? What?
The thing is, streaming was going to happen anyway. I'm convinced of that. There's no question of that. It changed it a little bit because, it gave Netflix a running start. But the fact of the matter is, if you offered House of Cards today with the original cast attached, they would say no, because Kevin Spacey is toxic now. Isn't that an ironic twist? Yeah. Here's the thing. David Milch, no one saw John from Cincinnati coming. You understand? He had created NYPD Blue. Mm-hmm. Brilliant. Yeah. He was a big part of Deadwood and Hill Street Blues and LA Law. This guy had a phenomenal resume. And the premise stunk. The show stunk. It was really awful, right? But I don't think, the thing is, they didn't necessarily make a bad decision. That was a guy who was hitting home runs, right, and he suddenly struck out. That was not a terrible decision. I guess the thing that it all comes down to is, we were going to end up binging shows. We were going to end up seeing bigger budgets for shows. we were going to get max out series like we get now. It was inevitable that once streaming got into that game, it would begin to take it over.
Right.
The problem you're having now is that it's going too far, that the series are too long now, that there's so much time to fill that they're filling it poorly. So, I mean, it was a plus and a minus. We're better off having all this new material, but we're not better off in the fact that they have a massive hole to fill every day. And a lot of this stuff that's coming through now is junk.
Yeah, there's too much product, which is not something I thought I would ever say. That's a good point. Well, Rhea, you said that making one bad decision shouldn't affect all your other decisions. So that's why I think you guys should always make the right decision, which is to go to our great sponsor, Steven Singer. You can't go wrong. No one ever regrets going to Steven Singer, right, Angelo?
Well, here's the thing, Jay, all right? The wrong decision. Here's how you know in jewelry it's the wrong decision. If you're going to a jeweler that holds sales, it's the wrong decision, because that means he's marking his stuff up so he can mark it back down. You rely on the integrity of the jeweler or whoever's working with you to tell you how good the stone is, right? If it's a diamond. If you don't know about the integrity of the jeweler, you're leaving yourself open to getting shafted. And let me tell you, I went to a lot of other jewelers. I even represented one before I represented Steven Singer. And I can tell you something right now. He's the icon in the field because he's the guy that people go to. The first time you go to him, you never go to another one again. I would never go to another one again because he treats you right. He treats you fair. You walk out of there thinking you got a good deal. I don't know what more you can ask for from a jeweler than what Steven gives you. He's at the other corner of 8th and Walnut. Check him out. He's great.
We talk about branding all the time. I mean, Steven Singer is jewelry. I mean, he is the brand. That's him. You've got graduations coming up. I know this. I don't have to worry about that. I got like 2 more years. But there's some, Jay, you mentioned product, too much product. The perfect amount of product, if you're looking for a graduation gift, is on there. Go check it out. Your graduate will not be disappointed. I can guarantee you that.
You go to the link to the website. If you don't live in the Philadelphia area, there's a little link that takes you to IHateStevenSinger.com. Go click on it right now. Get somebody a tennis bracelet. I don't even know what that is, but everybody loves
a tennis bracelet.
Absolutely. And Rhea, did Clark come through? Did you get a good gift?
No team. Although he's home today, I shouldn't say this. He's wasn't feeling well because we're going to the Phillies game.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So, but no, he did not have a teen show for this week. But I have a great British movie, which I don't do a lot of movies, and it's on Netflix. It's one of the big things on Netflix. I know I'm usually BritBox or Acorn. This is called The Dig. It's a 2021 movie starring Carey Mulligan and Ralph Fiennes. I never know. Am I pronouncing that right?
I think it's Fiennes. Yeah, Ralph
Fiennes.
Yeah,
you can't get two better
Fiennes, yeah.
actors. Yeah, I'm sorry, Ray Fiennes. Than those two. So what this is about is it's based on a true story. It's an architectural. It's called the Sutton Hoo dig. It was this find that was made shortly before World War II in the Sussex part of England. And it's considered one of the premier UK archaeological finds of all time. So this woman, Edith Pretty, widow who lived on this 255-acre estate, has these, what she assumes are burial mounds on her estate. She hires Basil Brown, who's played by Fiennes, and he comes out and he starts looking into it. I don't want to give away what the find is, although, like I said, it's based on a true story, but I didn't know anything about it, called the Sutton Hoo find. He begins to find it. He's a self-taught excavator. He's not an archaeologist. When they begin, and the acting between these two is beautiful. This is a quintessential British film, beautiful landscaping, understated acting. It may move a little slow for people. I found it to be really interesting because what I love about English shows is also the beauty shots of just how beautiful England can be, the countryside and this gorgeous estate. It starts to get bogged down a little bit because they decide to throw a love story with two younger people in it. But it's about this find And the guy who was doing the dig, Basil Brown, because he wasn't an archaeologist, for really up until this movie came out and the book that came out a couple years ago, really got very little credit for this.
Hmm.
And in the movie, they show how much Edith Pretty tried so hard to get him the credit because, museums came in and took over the site. It's really interesting. What I found very interesting about this is because they were trying to get the dig in before World War II started. You would see fighter planes going overhead, over the estate. The artifacts, some of the most precious artifacts from this, were actually hidden in the tube during the war because London was getting bombed. It's a very understated movie, like I said, very British, very well acted, called The Dig on Netflix. It's about 2 hours.
When you started this, Rhea, I thought you were referring to, there was a horror movie, like a horror science fiction movie called The Dig that came out like
I don't watch horror.
I was like, this is a weird choice from Rhea that she's watching about monsters coming out of an archaeological site. All right, so The Dig on Netflix. And Angelo, what do you got for us this week?
A very good week for Netflix on our show. I have a couple of things that are Netflix. I just want to start this kind of a theme of my reviews today, that it's wasted talent. All right. There's new show, Nonnas, on Netflix.
Nonnas.
Yep. Rhea talked about that.
I'm sorry, Nonnas. I should know this. I'm Italian.
You're Italian.
Nonnas. I'm sorry, Nonnas. And it stars Vince Vaughn, not playing Vince Vaughn. So that's actually a little bit of a negative. He's not a wisecracking normal, but it's a story of how this guy's mom dies. He wants to honor her by opening an Italian restaurant in Staten Island. So he amasses every major Italian actress over 60 is cast in it. You've got from The Sopranos, you got Lorraine Bracco, Andrea Di Matteo. You've got from Godfather, you got Talia Shire. You got Linda Cardellini from Mad Men.
Love her.
They're all in it, right? By the way, Lorraine Bracco almost ruins the whole thing. You want to see overacting?
Over.
You saw this, Rhea?
Oh, Angel, remember I emailed you. You forgot to mention Susan Sarandon. Here's where I will tell you to watch this show.
You're right.
It's okay. It's okay. It's not a Susan Sarandon. I had to go look up her age. She is stunning in this movie. She is 78 years old.
Yeah.
I need her plastic surgeon. I need her hair person. I want this. Angelo, am I lying at all?
Yeah. I believe she's the most beautiful woman at that age I've ever seen. And Sophia Loren also was very amply bosomed,
voluptuous.
But really, just watch it for Susan Sarandon. Rhea, you're 100% right. Lorraine Bracco's awful in it, and Rhea's right again. It's okay. It's something to watch. You got your grandparents over, your parents over. Watch it; they'll kind of like it. But
it is based, Angelo. It is based on a true story.
Yes.
And the guy's restaurant is still open, and he can barely run it now because people are going crazy trying.
But I'm glad because the food looked amazing. These are all old Italian grandmothers doing their recipes. Come on, how's that going to fail? But I want to talk about a new thing. This is also wasted talent. 4 seasons. This is this TV series based on a movie starring Alan Alda and Carol Burnett. Mm-hmm. It's a really good movie. I actually went back and watched the movie again to see where the TV series, 8 episodes, went wrong because it stinks to high heaven. All right. It's awful. It's just so, you've got Tina Fey, you've got Steve Carell, right? You got Domingo, with Coleman Domingo, right? Correct. You got Will Forte, right? And it's awful. It's really bad. And here's how they did it. Here's what happened. And you can watch the way basically filmmaking has evolved. The movie didn't care about political correctness. They got guys cheating on his wife. They get past that pretty easily. There's no, you got to make sure you check every box. You do it. We have an African American. Do we have a gay? They did none of that in the movie. They told you a story, and it was well done. And Alan Alda was great in it. And Alan Alda actually does a cameo in the TV show.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, I saw him holding his nose because he knew they were ruining a great show. He had directed and wrote the original. It's his work, and they butchered it. They ruined it, and you'll see why. Doing all this political correct stuff, how it negatively affects a product. Because that movie was very good. I wouldn't say it was great. It was very good. And that TV series stinks. So be careful. And Tina Fey, you're in a slump right now. Come on. Give us some of that Tina Fey greatness.
What was the last good thing she did? Honestly.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Mean Girls musical, maybe. I mean, she
Yeah.
did. There's a lot of TV. She did Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. She did Girls 5 Eva. There's some good stuff.
But is she in them?
No, she's behind the camera. She created it.
Yeah, behind the camera, terrific.
Right.
She's just she's in a slump, and this did not get her out of it. It's bad.
Well, they, the Michael Che and Colin Jost are apparently leaving Weekend Update.
Oh, really?
That's the rumor. We'll find out this Friday or this Saturday if that's the case. I say bring back Tina. Bring her back.
Yes. Yes, it'd be better than what she's doing now.
Yeah. All right, Angelo, what did we talk about this week?
If you would like to see the NBA playoffs, they are certainly worth watching. You can see them on ABC, ESPN, TNT, and NBA TV. The rehearsal, HBO Max, newly named HBO Max. Don't miss it. House of Cards is on Netflix. John from Cincinnati is available if you want to see a train track. It's on HBO Max, Hulu, and the Roku channel. The Dig is on Netflix. Rhea highly recommends it. Nonnas is that's on Netflix.
Okay.
And 4 Seasons, both the TV series now and the former movie, they are also on Netflix.
And that right there is Angelo Cataldi. You can get his book Loud on Amazon.com, Audible.com, or AngeloCataldi.com. Rhea Hughes, you can watch on YouTube every single day, all over the country on her radio show, which is on WIP. Make sure you check out my movie Tenants, which is on Tubi. And guys, I got to tell you, our YouTube views have been going nuts lately. We've been more people watching on YouTube than are listening to podcasts. So I guess it's because we're all so beautiful. That would be my
look at us.
Yeah, I mean,
how could you resist all of this?
By the way, I just gotta say it. So yesterday I found out Jay Black, who's in Vegas, he had to go to urgent care. He had a little issue. All right. Yeah. So I'm thinking, man, when I see him today, he's going to look horrible.
Yeah.
This is the best you've looked in 6 months. Is that because of the YouTube views? Is that it?
You know what? I got to look good for my people, Angelo. It's I just combed my hair. I actually spent 5 minutes combing my hair because I know you guys notice it. So I got to make a so we really appreciate you watching on YouTube. Tell lots of people about it because we'd love to get monetized over there, and then we could start wearing mink coats at every show.
One more thing. I want to thank Jared Clapper, who is back with our podcast. He hooked me up with a new mic. So if you hear me better, thank Jared for that. God bless you, Jared. You're awesome.
Yeah, thank you. I forgot to mention that. Thank you for reminding me, Angelo. Jared, back on the show, helping us produce when this becomes the dominant show in the TV space. It'll be thanks to Jared and the talent of these two people, Rhea and Angelo. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.